This isn't just a college football game.
Number 1 Clemson visits number 4 Notre Dame. And here come the Irish.
This is the paw print versus solid gold. Dabo versus Kelly.
My name is Fire, Fury, Power. My name is
Kyron Williams might go.
Legend.
Touchdown. Uiagalelei firing deep ball downfield. Touchdown.
This isn't just a college football game.
Touchdown.
This is
TC and Jake. Jake, I don't even know where to start. We don't have any large topics, but we have a lot of bullshit to talk about.
It's a big day for you.
It's a big day for me. You all may recall that the Alabama Leprechaun is a close friend of mine. You also have a connection in that you were passed out drunk in the back seat whenever we went through the same area. So kind of the same thing.
I actually came to enough to. I think I have a photo in front of that tree.
Yeah, no,
with
you went
Binion.
to the tree. Yeah. By the time we had rallied by the time we got to the tree.
That was a Four Locos situation, I believe.
It was. I seem to remember a strawberry margarita in a can. Also
Ooh,
playing.
maybe that was it.
I think it was both.
It was it both.
I think that gas station had more than one kind of alcoholic drink.
Yeah.
That's how they do it in Mississippi. That was where we were whenever we purchased the alcohol. But yeah, no, the Texaco, which was a disappointing thing overall. Just whenever we went to hang out one time, all the flights were booked up. It was going to be a couple $100 extra to go into Pensacola, which is the closest airport to Gulf Shores. And then even Mobile was going to be considerably expensive. So Biloxi became the safe haven for us.
Was that the same trip where things went sideways on the way home in Mississippi for the other fellas?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a tough one, man.
It was. They spent a lot of time in Biloxi.
We have a rough history with
MISSI. Mississippi does not tend to treat our group well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we touched down. We realized we were going to go through Mobile anyways. Figured might as well pull off. And you did not miss much because... there just wasn't any one thing you could point to. We went to the Texaco, we walked in, we asked around about Sean, and the guy, was clearly fucking with me. He was like, I had never heard those, Sean. And then, I overheard him telling someone else, they're asking about Sean.
Yeah. I remember this, actually. Surprisingly.
Yeah, fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
I just was trying to get my friends, because I was, big talk walking in of you guys watch. He's going to know Sean. He's going to know Sean. Hey, you know Sean? Guy, absolutely not. No, never heard of anyone named Sean. Never in my entire life.
And then it was actually a different trip where I had to drive home with Danny. What was the deal there?
Ooh, no, I think that was it. I think that was the same one.
No, because one time I drove home.
Yeah, no, I think that we went to Biloxi. The flight worked out for some people. Your flight got fully canceled till the next day.
Okay, so that's different from Danny getting arrested in Mississippi.
Correct.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. All right.
No, because Danny was flying with us. It was the next year because it was very difficult to convince Danny to fly into Biloxi
And now the dude flies all the time.
But he had made a pact with himself that I'm never going back to Mississippi. They've treated me too poorly.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel good about making him break it, but I also didn't feel good about paying several $100s extra for a ticket. So
I think I drove 14 straight hours through the worst weather I've ever experienced in my life.
Well, you had to produce a midday show when the stakes are that high.
I've done so much dumb stuff for very little payoff, TC.
I don't know about that. Not as you sit atop this throne now.
So I went camping this weekend.
I think your microphone is
jacked up a little bit.
Turned around.
So I wanted you to just read a couple of text messages that I screenshotted here for you.
Okay. These are all about camping?
Being in camping. So one friend is asking, as he's already volunteered to bring the meat, burgers. He says, how many people do we have? And then follows up with, alrighty, well, I'm probably only going to bring 10 or so burgers if someone wants to bring the other meat.
Yeah.
Now, herein we get what I believe to be a joke that really threw everything askew. Uh-huh. It is a screenshot, or a JPEG, I guess, of a shrimp ring.
Yeah.
And it says...
cocktail setup.
This is another person than Meat Man. I got a couple shrimp rings, so we should be good. Meat Man replies, LOL, what the fuck?
Fair.
Now, shrimp ring guy has already been asked to bring tortillas.
Uh-huh.
He sends an image of the shrimp rings and is told, you're still going to need to bring those tortillas. He replies, these shrimp rings are not cheap, dude. You could not expect me to get tortillas too. And it really devolved from there, which is essentially why anytime our group of friends does anything, I just handle it all myself.
Yeah, rather than being hearing about these shrimp rings are too much. Can't tortillas?
We literally like had this parceled out to where somebody was like, you get forks, you get plates, you get tortillas.
What are we going to do about cups?
It's like, dude, just buy all of it and use Venmo.
Mm-hmm.
These shrimp rings aren't cheap, dude. You can't expect me to get tortillas too.
Yeah. I mean, I see what he means.
Jesus.
He wants everyone pulling their weight equally.
Did go camping, although I was told it's not camping because I didn't sleep in a tent. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, it sounds right. What do you mean? Where did you sleep?
Put a blow-up mattress in the back of the car. I would say at least half the traveling party slept in their car.
I'd say you're just homeless.
You're at a campsite? Does that help?
A lot of homeless people at campsites do.
That's true.
Does
That's
a
true.
campsite count as home?
Man, I would say if you're going to the bathroom outside and you are at a campsite where you have paid money to park your car at that campsite, you're camping even if you sleep in your car.
I don't know. You know, it's like if you listen to every word of a book on the audiobook.
Did you read it?
You got all of the information. But if you told me, oh, yeah, I read that, doesn't feel like you're being straight with me. We need, this is a crusade that I'm on every single week. Our language has an insufficient amount of words. There clearly needs to be a word that encompasses what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And camping, I would say, is not that word. That feels clear to me.
But it's also not like glamping, you know, where people stay in places that have like running water. We didn't have that.
Yeah.
So we made up a new
word.
word, and that new word actually covers like something nobody ever does.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Andy Dalton, huh?
Next topic.
He's not that bad. I mean,
It's not good enough to overcome the other problems we have.
You're
That's
going to be
clear.
in the mix.
So just gonna write me down for the 35th straight year of watching a football team that declines to score. You know, like we could if we made different decisions, but we'd rather not.
28 wins in 3 years. That surprised me a little bit on the Nagy front.
Yeah.
I would take that at this point.
Yeah, no, I mean,
And I was super high on him when they hired him.
I was super high on him when they hired him. I was super high on him after the first year. It was awesome. But just if you watch those games, it's not a pleasant experience. Like however much enjoyment you think that you get out of 28 wins, just let me tell you, I've
bottom
had
of
less.
that.
Yeah. You know, I mean, like it was like what, a 5 or 6 game losing streak in the middle of that,
and a lot of Nick Foles.
Yeah, and just weird. I mean, that one over the Bucks was cool. I really liked that. I liked that in the moment. I think it was a Thursday night game, so I was watching with family out at the lake. Then the Bucks went on to win the Super Bowl, so there's a lot about that game. I mean, it was a big comeback. But yeah, there's, I don't know, a lot of weird stuff in those 28. I mean, we had a Falcons game that was like your Falcons game last year. That counts as one of the 28.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that.
I mean, the Falcons did it like 5 fucking times in a row or some shit.
Was that the Todd Gurley scored when he didn't mean to game, or was that one of the other 5 times in a
I
row?
thought that was the Cowboys one. Am I wrong? I don't know.
No, it wasn't actually.
Okay. Yeah, then I think you're right.
Yeah, big fan of the transitive property of sports, where like basically you won a Super Bowl.
Yeah, you know, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying I did enjoy watching it.
Yeah.
No, but what I think we really need to talk about, what you're bringing up to kind of distract from this, is that you offered the opinion this week in a setting where people could hear, the general public, that LeBron James is playing better than Joel Embiid, in your opinion.
Dude, I will tell you this.
Ridiculous.
The
Do you even
JoJo
watch basketball, dude?
I don't even know if you would call it a step back. Was that last Sunday? Like Sunday?
Yeah.
Dude,
I mean, last Sunday was All-Star.
yeah, so I guess it was within the last 5 or 6 days. That's the craziest thing I've probably ever seen a basketball player do. And it's probably just because he's huge.
Yeah.
But it's not even really a step back. It's like an off balance 1 foot 27 footer. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. And it was so good that I then fooled myself into listening to the Low Post with Bill Simmons because they were going to do a breakdown the second half.
I enjoyed that episode as well.
Did you enjoy the part where Bill said 3 different times he's a legit 7'3"?
He did say that. He is legit 7'3".
He's not even a legit 7 foot, and anybody who watches the NBA knows that.
Is he really?
Joel
not
Embiid is
7'3"?
listed as 7 feet, but he's 6'11". And there's a huge difference between legit 7'3" and listed at 7 feet.
That is tough.
And
I didn't know that. I believed him when he said it.
and I wonder if people think this about us occasionally. Like Zach Lowe easily could have stepped in there and been like, "That's fucking wrong," but he didn't because he wanted to be a cool bro. And like, how many times have you and I had that sort of situation?
And that's a
people have-
complicated relationship.
power imbalance,
Well,
at least previous.
yeah, I mean they have nothing now, but like, it's not like Zach's brain has forgotten the feeling of like whenever this guy was my boss, and not just like my boss. I mean, he was working at Sports Illustrated, which it's not like that's nothing. That's pretty cool,
Right.
but his career ascended very quickly in a short amount of time that started whenever Bill Simmons hired him away from Sports Illustrated.
Yeah.
Like, I think it felt to me like Bill Simmons, was reading all of the basketball writers and was like, this one,
Yeah.
he will be the top voice. And then did everything he could to make sure it happened. And then it did. I mean, he's up there. Woj has his own thing. I mean, they don't really do the same thing necessarily.
What do you think Zach Lowe makes a year?
I feel like Wendy's on, I think he's peaked.
I suppose I haven't really thought about it, but I mean,
You haven't thought about whether or not Wendy's peaked?
I mean,
I feel like he gets talked about less.
LeBron only has so much time left,
Yeah.
and that's kind of his meal ticket. Like, he's not breaking down film.
And just the intrigue is
He's
done.
not
Like,
doesn't have the Woj bomb.
it's not shocking to me if LeBron changes teams again. He's done it like 20 fucking times.
Right.
Like, if he goes from the Lakers to someone else, I don't care.
So, like, what's the utility of Wendy once the decision?
Yeah.
Part 4
no,
is
he had a
over with?
moment, and much respect. But yeah, I mean, it was a high peak. But
Dude,
it's in the past.
I have so much respect for him for staying so heavy.
Yeah, no, for sure, dude.
I really, really, as someone who like, I'm pretty close to just being like, I'm gonna get fat.
I was
I'm
thinking.
gonna stop exercising. I'm just gonna get fat.
I was watching the State Farm commercial where they've all got the stand-ins, and Drake's looking just jacked in that commercial. I don't see what he looks like a lot of times, so maybe that's always how he looks.
He's
don't
on
know.
steroids.
Yeah, but he looks fucking huge,
He is massive.
and it's comical.
Yeah.
And I was watching that, and I was thinking about Riff Raff also doing that. I feel like a lot of people, rappers especially, have had this move where they're like, you know what, this
Dr.
is gonna,
Dre roided way up.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is going to be the summer where I'm just fucking
Yoked.
giant. I
Yeah.
got biceps the size of people's heads. People with large heads. Still my biceps is big. And I was feeling that it's kind of played out in my opinion at this point. I mean, you're not going to find me complimenting things that Drake does, so big surprise. I don't think it was a great move, but I'd say that he needs to do a zig where they zag. I think he needs to go Mac from Always Sunny. One of the greatest things of all time. In TV history, I would say him getting fat, up there on the Mount Rushmore. And I just wonder why everyone else watched that and didn't think this could be a great tool in my toolbox. I think it would be fucking hilarious and great for your career if 2 months from now you're 40 pounds heavier.
I could do that pretty easily.
Let's go, dude. With the beard?
Oh my goodness.
Fat guy with a giant beard?
Just cheese, cod.
That would fucking rule.
Dude, I've been laughing so hard, like almost once a day. So like usually, okay, so it's Wednesday afternoon. And usually Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday are pretty healthy nights here at the house. Mm-hmm. Vegetable, meat, probably a
quinoa of
not
some
even
kind.
a good carb, exactly. It's got a Q in it.
Yeah.
And I think it was 2 weeks ago.
You guys ever do like vegan meat options?
You know, we have, but we've only done it in like lasagna because I feel like at that point it's
Barely meat anyways.
it's covered up enough to where
Yeah.
I have had a Beyond Meat burger, which I didn't find too objectionable.
I
mean,
wonder
I
if
don't-
I should start eating, like, at least, like, taking a bite of the weird-ass shit my dad has. So, he's vegan. I don't know if everyone keeps track of that on the podcast audience.
Yeah.
I have a vegan dad.
Yeah.
But, like, he got the
What about
Pizza
Daniel?
Hut. That's a great question. I mean, he's definitely not vegan. I don't know how often he participates in their bullshit. Well, it's just...
Okay, that's one way of
Like my fucking mom will like whenever he first started being vegan, and it's my impression that the vegan food options have exploded over
Yeah.
the course of the last couple years.
Yeah.
So this is before that is the point I'm trying to make.
Yeah.
We like came over to eat dinner with them and like had spaghetti and meatballs. We're like chewing and with like a weird look on our face, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
And then at the end, she's like, "They were vegan meatballs. Couldn't even tell, huh?" I'm like,
I'm glad you did
it
that
explains a
voice.
lot because they fucking suck. Like,
I can do like, and I even think there might be some of these in the fridge. The turkey, we had this argument already about chili, and that's not really a problem for me. The turkey burger or the turkey chili, that's I would say comparable. Relative
yeah, I don't have
to,
a problem with turkey. Turkey's fine.
So my point is just, I've been laughing because a couple weeks ago, I was bitching to you and I was like, man, it ruins my whole day whenever I know heading into the evening that I have to eat something that I don't want to eat. And without really like even like breaking stride, you said, well, then don't.
Think about it.
I don't know what sort of, dumb vegetable based dish we had on the docket that night, but it was messing with me, and it has
Live
really
near a Popeyes.
for like 30 years.
You know, if you got a bike
I
and
wake
rode
up
it to that Popeyes, that's pretty much a push.
Dude, I'm never riding a bike on the street again after that Sean Bradley dude.
Sean Bradley. I mean,
Dude, that's horrific, man.
all respect to his family, absolutely, and him.
That's I don't know, man.
I don't know that. I don't even think that Sean would want you to extrapolate from that. That you shouldn't ride a bike.
I mean, I never really thought of myself as becoming bike guy anyways, but man, when you like you've been at Dan's house plenty, when you drive around back there, that's dicey, man. There's a lot of biker people back there.
And the
there's
streets
no
are challenging.
sidewalk, super
It's
windy.
nearly blind turns in a couple
Yeah.
different spots. No, I've never felt confident driving back there.
I ran back there like a month ago. I don't know, like I think we were doing the hard line at like 5:30 or something and head on a swivel the entire time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I
I'm
would
not
love
bike
to
guy.
know why they thought that was a good street layout. They were wrong.
They
I would
were
love
wrong.
to know why they thought that.
Yeah.
Now we had a Mormon friend, have a Mormon friend, and he grew up here, and I made a joke about Sean Bradley, and then he was like, "Yeah, no, he did coach my youth basketball team."
So I just want to like reset.
Like when I
this a
hear
little
that
bit. Like,
there's someone who's Mormon, I'm like, "What? Did Sean Bradley coach your fucking basketball team?" And he was like,
But like, why
yeah.
would that be a cool thing to do even from the beginning? Like, you're just making fun of like arguably probably like the most famous athlete of this faith of all time.
I don't. One, definitely not.
Probably a Taysom.
I mean, has Taysom ever been interviewed by Katie Couric?
We're doing Manti.
Yeah, dude.
We're doing why Manti.
I mean, you finished third in the Heisman voting as a defensive
What
player.
a sham.
He had
Absolute sham.
a mind-boggling number of interceptions, including one to seal a win over Oklahoma. You know how many home losses Bob Stoops had to that point? 4.
That's not very many.
That was the 5th.
Okay. He's not a legit 7-3, if you want to look at the Wikipedia.
Is there people writing up Bill? Do we have a bunch of blog posts of like, look at this fucking idiot?
No, honestly,
that is crazy. I mean, because he was going on about Embiid quite a bit.
Yeah.
Like, which is why I think it should be clear to everyone that anyone who goes and says LeBron is the clear-cut MVP is fucking smoking too much.
Okay, well, I didn't in any way think whenever I said that this would turn into the set piece of a critical podcast moment.
I mean, I took my phone out and wrote it down because it blew me away. I was incensed. Just because you like, who's the biggest Joel Embiid cheerleader I've ever met in my entire life?
He's had a great year.
You've argued with Austin cab drivers about where Embiid ranks in the hierarchy of the NBA.
He's also hurt.
Yeah, he's gonna get back though.
NBA fan TC.
He's never had injury problems before.
Just had some news broken to him.
Yeah. No, I haven't watched a single game he's played. And what brought it up? Oh, yeah. While we're on the topic of basketball.
Yeah.
I saw a tweet over the weekend where that should be the name of a segment. I saw a tweet over the weekend.
There are a lot of tweets on the weekend.
Yeah, dude. It's a good time to get out there. I saw a tweet over the weekend where they were saying that Rick Pitino was the coach who had the most conferences from which he had made the NCAA tournament. And I put a joke about it. And I guess I always knew this moment would come. It was a little shocking that it was this one. Really, I'm saying it should have happened before that I've had to deal with this, come out and, have my press team get to work on it. Mm-hmm. But just endless tweet after tweet of like, Kempspin. And I just want to set the record straight. I think it is wonderful what you've done. It's beautiful. It's amazing. But I would think that in your calculating of these things, that this is a shared trait, a podcast-wide
100%.
Tendency to forefront the more humorous aspects of a person's life.
Yeah, and just, it oftentimes...
I don't feel like I have to pay royalties every time I say this guy also fucked a lady on a fucking Italian,
Yeah, I totally agree.
Bathroom.
I totally agree. I think both of us have a proclivity for interest in the seedy, oftentimes sexual underbelly of public figures, right? Whether it's Golan Sapel
yeah,
or it's Porcini's.
And
it's kind of both of our
the
deal.
Golan expanded universe, of course, including Charles Kushner.
Exactly. Man, that's a crazy one.
I love it so much. I can't get my head around it. I can't believe, like, of all the things that, like, Resistance Twitter would seize upon, they really never got that into the Charles Kushner stuff. And that was a mistake.
Marlins involved?
The Marlins?
Like, isn't...
If they are, I don't recall where.
I swear to God, Charles Kushner is like in some way, shape, or form related to the Miami Marlin.
He might be, but the thing I'm thinking of is that Kushner was attempting... like
It's Jared Kushner's father.
Yeah, Jared Kushner's father. We've done podcasts on this, but it's been a couple years.
Yeah.
Jared Kushner... So I'll run through it real quick. Jared Kushner's father was a developer in the New York, New Jersey area. And developers often like giving large political contributions to anyone who's going to be in power, so their development deals get the kind of approvals that they need. The governor of New Jersey at the time was Jim McGreevey, and Charles Kushner gave... I don't know if he gave it directly to Golan, or it was somehow involved in the Golan Sapel hush money payments. Golan Sapel was a mentally struggling individual that did have a gay relationship with New Jersey Governor Jim McGreevey.
Yeah, and I don't recall if he had like he might have been a masseuse or something, but he was in some way, shape, or form on the payroll for the governor of New Jersey, who then had to have a tearful press conference with his wife standing right next to him, where McGreevey announced his indiscretions.
Yes. He's an Israeli consultant most known
have a
for his relationship with former New Jersey Governor Jim McGreevy. So yeah, I think that Charles Kushner like made hush money payments to Chappelle, something like that. And then the FBI was circling Kushner, trying to figure out, what money he'd given, whether or not it was legal, just trying to figure out what was going on here. And Kushner's sister's husband flipped on him, or at least he was worried that he was going to flip on him. So Charles Kushner's reaction to that was to hire a prostitute to go and seduce his brother-in-law, and he had the prostitute tape it and then sent the tape to his sister.
Incredible.
A fun time had by all.
So apparently the Kushners tried to buy the Marlin.
Okay.
And it fell through. But I knew there was something Kushner related with MLB.
Yeah, no, that's pretty good. I like it.
But no, to your point, it's in no way my own IP. You know, I think this is me standing on your shoulders.
I wouldn't say that that's an accurate description. I would say that we're holding hands, walking together towards a beautiful future where people's public indiscretions are the only thing that anyone knows about them.
And it honestly is kind of remarkable because occasionally my wife will mention a person's name and I'm like, oh yeah. And like I remember, a 9 year ago, I don't know why that is. It's not like I am free of my own problems over here. I'm sure people will be able to. That's what I want. I want to be spend on my own. And I think it was Bob's branding. I think he came up with the name.
Chemspin, yeah, no, it's good. That's good branding. I would have shirts by now if I were you.
I think there are shirts.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's nice.
But of course, I'm not going to wear them.
Why not? How about the first public appearance, first public podcast after we get back? We can both just walk up there wearing matching Kempspin t-shirts.
Because I already have my witch hunt shirt.
Yeah.
On deck that I'm kind of been saving that one.
Yeah.
I still got fucking sand in my eye.
Yeah, that was great. I was well into having a great night.
Yeah.
Really not in any position to respond to text messages when I look down at my phone and see that Jake is like, dude, I got sand on my eye.
I just needed to tell
sand
somebody.
all over my face. I mean, I appreciate the update.
I needed to tell somebody
it.
because, again, wife gave me no sympathy and largely was just laughing at it. But I think I thought like...
Nora playfully threw a ton of sand on my face earlier. I have showered. I can't get it off me. I just need to tell someone that this is the worst thing that has ever happened to me.
I think it's behind my eyeball.
Oh, shit.
What, dude? It was a full shovel full of sand. And like, there's nothing I can do. I've held my eye open, Clockwork Orange style, into the shower.
I think you got to do that longer.
Douched it with saline, and she thought it was hilarious.
I can imagine that.
And it's just like, it's bothering the piss out of me, dude.
I said, have you Googled it? You said, what the fuck? Am I going to Google how to wash off sand? And I said, yeah.
Not that helpful.
I think it's a good suggestion. I figured that if you Googled it, you would find some helpful. I mean, surely people have had sand before. I Googled how to like drive a car out of sand, and then successfully drove my car out of the sand it was stuck in.
When was that?
It was when I was in Pensacola.
Okay.
Megan and I were going down to the beach. Wanted to take a U-turn. And, it was just like a 2-lane, just the road that goes along the beach. So
as you were sinking, you popped out the Safari and...
Yes, yeah. The trick for anyone who wants to know, if you just go forward, go back, go forward, go back, go forward, go back, over and over and over, you will eventually get out of it.
Okay. Create your own little... your own dig. Mm-hmm. But I think we've transitioned into the phase, and maybe not every kid does this, I'm not sure. Mm-hmm. But we're at the point where my body is comedy. You know what I mean? Like if I'm sitting down in there as we put her down, she'll walk up and just push me. And if I fall down, funniest thing she's ever seen. And then whenever I raise back up, the second funniest thing she's seen. Push me back over, right back up to the top of the list of funniest things she's ever seen. Like hitting me, kicking me, throwing sand on me. Like we're at the point now where...
amount of
I'm
laughing
basically Chris
increased.
Farley.
Or the amount of laughing in general is greatly increased in the
Yeah,
last couple months.
we've gotten to that point. And she asks about you a lot.
Oh, that's nice. I can tell that we have a close connection by the way that she seems terrified every time that she walks in and I'm here.
But when you leave, though,
yeah, that's common with me. The memory of me much more pleasant than the actual experience.
I think you have a fun name for kids.
What's that? Oh, TC?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would hope so,
She likes that one.
kind of sing-songy, simple.
So I can't remember what made me think of this earlier with Tony Busby. We were talking about like political contributions. This is my favorite part of the Tony Busby Wikipedia page because there's a lot there. Tony Busby's the lawyer who had a World War II era tank parked on his right in front of his house in Houston. He's the guy who's suing, I suppose, as part of a suit with a plaintiff, Deshaun Watson, over sexual harassment. Stay with me on this one. In 2016, Busby hosted a fundraiser at his River Oaks mansion for then presidential candidate Donald Trump. Later on, following the release of the Access Hollywood tape, which just as like a clause, I find to be a hilarious thing that everyone immediately
Yeah. When the
Access Hollywood.
president said he grabs women's vaginas.
Right. Later on, following the release of the Access Hollywood tape, Busby disavowed Trump and stated his intention to write-in veteran Dan Moran for president.
Okay.
Subsequently, Busby gave $500,000 to Trump's inauguration committee.
I can't believe it. Where were you the night the tape came out?
Dude, you know what? I was actually at a Texas Land and Cattle filling in for Mike Reiner with Corby, and that audio hit at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Really?
Yeah, and it was a Friday.
I knew it was the weekend.
Yeah, and I remember like listening to it for the first time like it was yesterday and telling Corby like, holy shit, dude. Like I've got the next hour of the show covered.
That's wonderful.
It was.
Do you have that hour? Can I go listen to it?
I mean, we could probably find it. I don't have it
What a document.
readily available, but yeah, that was a wild, wild afternoon. And then the debate was like 4 days later.
Yeah. And he was like
you gonna do
stopped
about it?
outside and they were like, no. You cannot bring in every single one of Bill Clinton's accusers.
Look at that
You got to pick one.
That's awesome.
I was in Houston. I was visiting some friends. I just always remember the weird moment for me was that they had that night indicated they did not know who Harambe was.
Your
And-
friends.
Yeah, so I was like,
Wow.
Jesus Christ, how fucking online brain poisoned am I? That this is, I've said this name more often than close family members. And these people have never even heard of the gorilla that killed the child at the Cincinnati Zoo. Didn't kill a child, right? He seemed like he might go for the child, so they killed him. Of
Yeah.
course.
Does that tape exist?
I think so. I mean, my recollection is it wasn't like super clear,
Okay.
but there was someone with a camera and you could kind of like hear yelling.
Man. Then Elon Musk released a auto-tuned rap song.
About Harambe?
You never heard that?
I don't think so.
Oh my God.
I don't listen
Elon
to
Musk
like
put out a
just
song
whole
called
lot of
R.I.P.
Elon
Harambe.
Musk. I kind of wish if I like the way that Twitter lets you mute things, like if I could just do
Yeah.
that life wide, I'd
Yeah.
like to never hear anything that he's doing again. I'm just tired of it.
Yeah, I'm super tired of him. But I swear to God, the chorus was R.I.P. Harambe, sipping on some Bombay, which is a gin, smoking on that bomb hay,
That's
R.I.P.
terrible.
Harambe. And that man is worth $1 trillion.
Awful.
Remember that guy at Disney World that tried to rescue his kid from an alligator?
How'd it go?
That's the animal story that I felt like should have been at Harambe level exposure.
Yeah, I agree.
Like,
yeah.
dude, it's a horrible story, obviously, but like, you put yourself in that moment and you're like,
Embrace
I
debate.
don't
I'm going to take
know.
the other side.
I don't know if I would fight an alligator for my kid.
Really? Come on.
I mean,
If the kid's already dead, I would just dive at the alligator and say, fucking take me too. I don't want any. Wherever they're going, I want to go with. And if that's the alligator's intestines, so be it.
But you've actually had the opinion, and I think about this a lot too, that like that's not how you would like it to go, right?
Yeah,
that like even if you've had one day, then that one day is better than any day.
No, that's
so why?
It's different. Like, I'm saying that I appreciate the time I've had with my child so much that I would not be regretful if I lost my child. Like, I would obviously wish that I had had more, but like, you know, the whole like, would you prefer to have loved and lost than not loved at all?
Right.
Like, you know, if my child had had some complication and like 9 hours into her life, it had ended. Of course, I would be fucking devastated, but I would not take it back. I would not wish that my wife had never gotten pregnant because those 9 hours were fucking exceptional.
So that makes sense then.
Yeah, so that still does
fight the
allow
gator.
me to hop into the gator's mouth and say, take me, take me.
I'd love to see how small of an alligator I could.
I'm sure we can
Subdue.
get this done. I mean, if Dale fought a bear, the least your pussy ass could do is fight an alligator.
Jeez. First Embiid, now this. What's this document you have pulled up?
Well, I'm trying to do some research on the fly because I was Googling this to make sure I was caught up, which, I don't know, why was I even doing that? And saw that there was something that I didn't necessarily know about the case that seems important. But I have a, so they got away with that, huh?
Love it.
This was given to me
it's
by...
not my wife making me eat quinoa.
No, that's not technically
So
a
she
crime.
got away with that, huh?
It's it's like a social crime, but we're
Yeah.
talking about crimes.
Okay.
Now, this was given to us by a longtime friend of the podcast, Josh Ellis. You'll remember him from DallasCowboys.com. And he is from Longview, and he informed me.
Like Dez.
No, Dez is from Lufkin.
That's right.
It's a different city. That in Longview, on one of the main roads, is a large store. One of the oldest operating businesses in Longview, and winner of Baylor's Business School Business of the Year, one of the years in the 2010s.
Fantastic. A distinction that I learned about 7 seconds ago.
Yeah, you would like to be Business of the Year.
I would like to not be worst business of the year. So I suppose if you are offering me a binary choice, sure.
We're talking about Hurrani's Feed Store.
Okay.
And that was founded by, I believe, the grandfather of Ron Hurrani. But by the time this occurred, Ron was running it alongside his mother, I believe. And Ron, chilling at home, having a good time. One of his neighbors hears a gunshot.
Oh, no.
Runs, trying to find out what's going on. Ron's been shot dead in his, I think, just like front yard. I think it was just the old... Maybe you've heard of someone doing this, the knock on the door and then shoot the person.
I never have.
Me neither. This was 4 or 5 years ago. I think it was 2016. I can find that in a second here.
Legit 7-3.
And they don't have any idea who it was. There's stories about the families increasing the Crime Stoppers budget because, I mean, whenever you're running Hurrani's feed, you got that kind of dough.
Feed bank.
But just for everyone who thinks, like, surely you can't have a... Because I think that was... Philip and I were talking about this in the context of the Dallas police officer who had the hits carried out.
Oh, my God, dude.
That he was like, life's not like movies. You can't just carry out hits. And I think that is... A lot of people feel that way, and I think that my assertion is that life is, in fact... a place where it is much easier to get away with murder than the movies. Like in the movies, people get caught in the end most of the time. In life, it appears to be a 50-50 shot, and this one ended up on the wrong side of the 50. As this case was being investigated by the Department of Public Safety, a lawsuit was filed, whistleblower deal, by a member of the Department of Public Safety, alleging a number of misdeeds within the organization, one of which being that the officer in charge of investigating the Hurrani case was, in fact, sleeping with the widow Hurrani.
Wow.
And had gone out of his way to make sure that she could receive insurance money. Like there's some amount of state level, like the insurance company is looking to the state
It has to be signed
like,
off on by like an investigative body.
Yeah,
that
like
this was
explain to me what
definitely-
happened here. Like the state
Okay.
has to determine how he died. Like the details of the death, and then the insurance company is going to go off that.
Right.
And so he was carefully steering that process to make sure that the woman that he was now sleeping with was. And the thing that I'm trying to read on the fly here and make sure I understand is
Because I have something to say about that.
Go ahead.
If you want to. Okay, so that feels like something that when you see in movies, you're like, no way. Cop is actually sleeping with widow / victim of.
it's a little bit Fargo season 1. That was the insurance adjuster sleeping with the widow.
That's right. Yeah. But like that, when you see it in movies, you're like, there's no fucking way you think you could get away with that. And you're telling me this actually happens?
Yeah.
But I mean, you do probably get like a pretty intimate level of connection. Like, I'm not trying to make excuses for this guy. And if he had malfeasance on the investigative front, like that's a different subject. But I would imagine talking to people who have experienced trauma, you're a human. And like at some point, you probably are going to feel close to them as they're sharing, the description of that trauma.
Yeah.
Again, not trying to make excuses for the philandering police officer, but I don't know. Like, don't you feel like whenever somebody tells you like the worst thing that's ever happened to them, you immediately feel somewhat closer to them?
Yeah. No, I
mean, it's
think
kind of
so.
the point of your podcast, right? The other one is
Yeah.
that like it connects with people because you're sharing, a horrifically traumatic experience, and
Yeah.
other people that have either been through that or are voyeuristically interested in it probably feel more connected to you as a person whenever they hear it. So if you're a cop and your job is literally to hear people tell you the worst shit that's ever happened to them all day, you might wet the beak every now and then. That's all I'm saying.
Now you understand it, but you also understand how you just can't really tolerate that if
Yeah.
you're the superiors. There's some real questions here.
Yeah, there's an ethics concern for sure.
A sheen of impropriety. And one of the questions that I think a lot of people were asking, and I didn't know how much evidence there was about this at all, but I'm about to read, what I've just found here, and you can decide for yourself. But just one of the big questions raised by this entire thing is, the man is dead. Like, when did this relationship start?
Okay, well, that's a whole other situation, right? Like if it started beforehand, then
you have more questions.
I have a lot more questions. Yeah.
The Longview News Journal published a story. This is a gentleman who runs a thing. It's not Bob Loblaw's Law Blog. It's Law Flog.
It doesn't really roll off the tongue in quite the same manner, but sure.
So the guy who runs Law Flog says, the Longview News Journal published a story about the lawsuit on November 28, 2019, and shortly thereafter I received a phone call from a woman in Cherokee County who wondered whether her ex-husband may have been involved in the murder of Ron Haraney. Heather Metzig was previously married to DPS trooper Tyson Metzig, and she claimed that he had been under investigation by Ranger Davis at the time of the murder. Ranger Davis is the gentleman who was sleeping with the ex-wife and investigating the case. According to Ms. Metzig, her husband looked very similar to the official sketch. There was an official sketch. I'll show it to you in a second here.
Better than the leprechaun?
Yeah. She said she found an article online suggesting that Mr. Haraney had been shot with a compact AR-15, and she said her ex-husband owned one. I did not pursue the issue further based on the information she gave me at that time. In mid-June, however, she contacted me with additional information. She said her 8-year-old daughter had a Gmail account that had been used on one of Trooper Metzig's Android phones, and through that Gmail account, she was able to look at the GPS tracking information from his phone on the date of the murder. According to Ms. Metzig, the GPS data showed Trooper Metzig traveling from Cherokee County to the site of the murder on the date of the murder. Well, Jesus, dude, I didn't see all this. I don't know if they did get away with that, huh?
Yeah.
It does say that the official DPS records indicate that like he wrote a felony DWI ticket at 4 p.m. that day in another county in Texas, and Haraney was shot at 7 p.m. So I don't know. Maybe I need to look in further to this because that sounds bad. But yeah, who knows? Ex-wives have motivations too.
So it's interesting, right? Like, okay, so we have this case of the guy in Dallas, the Dallas police officer who was apparently involved in not only 2 hits, but like prior to that had a bunch of complaints against him, a bunch of IAD investigations, and the guy that he was involved in this murder with, like he had done crimes with growing up. And I'm not saying like being a criminal as a youth should completely preclude you from law enforcement, but you know, we're taking all this in context. So do you think it's more likely that you could get away with it in big city or small city?
Small city.
You think so? Even though, like, you know, because the counterpoint to that would be like everybody knows everything about everybody. Whereas like big city is like, all right, you're going to have much brighter lights, shown upon your crimes. But like the flip side of each of those is just like, okay, yeah, but there's no investigative power necessarily in small cities that would threaten you. And on the flip side, big city, you're saying, yeah, but like they're going to miss some stuff.
Yeah, no,
there's like 5 million people here.
In a big city, whoever's assigned that murder case has worked hundreds of murder cases.
And it doesn't even stick out to them.
In a small city, they might not have worked a murder case in their life.
And they don't know how to
Do I
handle
think I
it.
can get away with a murder whenever the person investigating it has never attempted to investigate a murder? I don't know. I don't hate my chances.
Yeah.
Like that's a big theme.
But if they get one though, it might feel like more of a "this is my career moment" type thing, and they're like doggedly chasing the case, as opposed to a guy who just goes home at the end of his 9 to 5 and is like, "Yeah, fuck it, it's another murder."
In the Bill James book, yeah, but just doing things over and over is the way to get good at them. Like being enthusiastic about the task, like yeah, I guess it helps, but it's not as big a determinant as experience. You know, I mean, like it's like you could say, like, would you rather start a rookie quarterback or Tom Brady? The rookie's going to be really excited he's there, you know?
Yeah.
Tom Brady's got the experience. Experience is very important. The Bill James popular crime highlights on a regular basis, like in the major unsolved crimes of the last couple hundred years, that a thread that runs through a lot of them is that it happened in a small town. I think that's certainly some amount of the John Bonet. Is that the Denver PD didn't get involved until after the crime scene had been failed to be secured.
Yeah.
Where do you have an opinion on who killed John Bonet?
Not really. I don't think it was the brother. I feel like I've seen enough to think it wasn't the brother. Mm-hmm. But I really don't, dude. Like, and basically every 5 years we'll just trudge this story back up, and that looks like Bruce Arians, by the way. Maybe it's just the hat.
It's just the hat, but yeah, the sketch of who killed Ron Hernani does look like it might be Bruce Arians that did it,
dude.
Or Dodd from season 2 of Fargo.
I don't remember Dodd.
He wore that hat. The older brother that was trying to take over the syndicate thought the mom was weak. He's the one that had Hansi, like Hansi was his foot soldier. Have you ever seen Fargo?
It bums me out that you're like this up to date on Fargo and I'm not.
I mean, I've watched. I stalled out in season 3. I made the worst mistake you can make. I told my wife
this
that I was
Hansi?
doing it. Yeah, but no, I'm saying Dodd is what I'm talking about. Hansi is Hansi is Dodd's soldier.
Oh yeah, dude, this guy's terrifying.
Yeah.
Man, that might be my favorite season.
I think it might be. It's very good.
But essentially, the Jean Bonnet, there's like a Jean Bonnet economy.
that you participate in.
Which is like every 5 years, they just do the whole thing over again. And like they get, a new forensic specialist, and they don't really ever appear to have any sort of conclusion whatsoever. Yeah,
I'm trying to remember the Bill James conclusion because it was pretty good. Like he's focused on the note that was left, that was discovered like hours into the whole thing. And just his assertion was that it was someone who worked at the dad's company.
That is what I've heard.
Yeah.
And probably had like pederast tendencies.
And just like, I think that he was, I don't know.
Which is actually just called being a pedophile.
Yeah.
I feel like I couched that in terms that were a little bit soft.
Yeah, but we don't know who it was, so we don't know what they did. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's weird. But it also has the feel of someone who is blaming him for something and so is like, well, I'm going to make this bad for you too. Like
The dad?
if you can't be happy, then I can't, or if I can't be happy, then you can't be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got that message as much as like I'm trying to take kids because I like kids.
Do you feel like that's a 90s phenomenon, not taking kids, but I know that there was recently that Netflix series regarding, was it child pageants or something? Everybody got really mad about it. Do you remember this? Like in the last few months, there was a big controversy over that. But man, I feel like that is like maximum 90s. Like, and even going back and watching that, like the Britney Spears documentary, I had forgotten that like you could go to the mall and you would see performances put on by children like in the mall.
Yeah, mall shows, I can't imagine they're happening a lot now. But yeah, no, I did the same experience. When I was watching the documentary, I was like, I did go to a couple mall shows.
I definitely did. And I forgot that those even existed. They had cars at the mall. They had ferrets at the mall.
They would
and
always have cars
performers
inside at the mall. The biggest one I remember, I think that this was Fox Valley Mall in Aurora, Illinois. This was whenever Pocahontas was coming out. I know I saw Pocahontas in the greater Chicagoland area, so that's why I think that it was probably Fox Valley where the mall was. That they had one of the animators came and like free-handed a couple. He was like, this is a character I made. I'm just going to draw him real quick.
Like, can you literally imagine anything less interesting to see in person
than a guy drawing? And it wasn't even like he wasn't the animator for Pocahontas. He was like the John Smith's boss or whatever, like the villain in the thing.
Goodness.
Yeah. Yeah. Mall shows, dude. Bring them back. What was wrong with that?
And it was never, like, I feel like it was never adult artists. Like, which is even more concerning, right? Like, it would be like a kid singing and dancing act or a kid, like, pop punk band. By the way, did you see Buzz Oven got real mad at me the other day?
I don't know what that means.
So when I was like probably 16, 17, 18, there used to be this thing in DFW called Buzz Oven.
I kind of remember
and
you talking
like,
about this.
Yeah, it was like the hype. I don't know. It was like a music blog before they were very popular. Mm-hmm. And they would hold these battle of the bands. And they always felt rigged. Much like
totally,
like
dude.
the Door in Fort Worth would charge $10 per head. And they would give the band like $1.
That's not right.
And so Buzz Oven was this thing where they would have these battle of the bands. You would do like a full day on Saturday or a full day on Sunday. They would charge $10 or $15 for entry. They would keep essentially all the money. And the only chance you had at winning is if you had a keyboard. That sort of thing.
Yeah, that's super cool, dude.
And I tweeted about it just because I randomly like thought about it, and I think somebody copied like two guys who used to run it, and they were not pleased with my review. Mm-hmm. Did you ever play in a battle of the bands?
I never played in a band.
Man, I thought you had like a minute on the guitar, at least like screwing around with your buds.
I would like play it at my house,
but never like anywhere in public.
I mean, we just weren't that good. Like, we couldn't. Like, I had
did not
friends
stop us
who did, but I mean, like, just at no point was I like really good at playing like full songs.
Yeah,
it was more like
I do not want to overrepresent my
I knew
abilities
like
here.
One Blink riff, you know. At some point, I did learn the bridge to "Damn It," and at that point, I could kind of play a song all the way through.
There you go.
That was the last part I learned.
A month or so ago, I learned "Damn It" on piano and like screamed and brought the family in.
How's that coming along? When are you gonna play a concert sometime?
You make me want to smoke. It's, you know, I think it's okay. I still do it every week.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome.
So I probably do like 2 hours of practice, I would say, per week, scattered across. Now, the one thing I will tell you that's very difficult about it is I have to do it on a keyboard a lot, like before or after the kid goes to sleep. Mm-hmm. And I have like a 25 key keyboard, so that limits your ability to shift octaves a little bit. But I don't know. I'm trying to stave off Alzheimer's a little bit here.
Is that what piano playing does?
I've heard learning an instrument helps.
I was really heartened by the musers talking. I mean, this was months ago, that people with kids tend to stave off those things better. Like, just because the kid's requiring so much activity from you. Like, you stay
I mean,
a
on its
little
face,
bit-
it makes sense.
A little bit better, yeah. No, I mean, I feel like it is increased my activity, and I like that.
Just a lot of things you have to keep track of, so I suppose that would help.
Yeah.
Boy, I just thinking about what like either you or I would be like at this stage with no kid and no wife. It's not good.
I wouldn't have much time left, but I would have enjoyed all of it that I did to that point.
Fair.
No, the other
more
musers,
rest in Mississippi.
yeah. The other musers thing that I was thinking about. This was before the Sean Bradley thing. I almost texted Craig. I haven't texted Craig in years. I don't know if he thinks about me, but I was driving behind someone on a bike, and the thing I always think about is like them just falling over, and then like my wheel crushes their head. But like it all happens fast, so like what the fuck am I supposed to do? I mean, the answer is like don't follow so close, but
yeah,
you know what I mean. Things happen fast. Life comes at you fast.
Looked out at your phone for 2 seconds and something that everybody does, and the next thing you know, you're like Cameron Poe.
And so I was just wondering,
unjustly in jail.
Exactly. And I was wondering how often Craig falls. And then I was thinking that most of the, like, while he's biking.
Yeah.
And I would think
that was fairly easy to.
Yeah. Fair enough. But I would think that he falls somewhat, but I bet it's always, he could tell you a story about it, you know, of like, well, this came out of nowhere. It was raining.
Right.
You know, that kind of thing. I want to know when the last, like, straight line, flat surface. Like, has it been a decade since he just fell off his bike?
It might have been a decade, but still, I would bet that 3 to 4 times in the past 25 years of his like riding a lot, he's had a complete unexplainable wipeout. And in fact, I think I've heard him talk about this a little bit before. Like that, I think he said before that like he might have said that he's never had surgery. Did you actually text him?
No,
I
I
thought you
didn't.
were pulling up your text right there.
No. No, I was in the car as I was thinking about this. I have a lot of great ideas in the car that don't get followed up on.
Brain notes.
Yes, if I had brain notes, I would have called, would have texted Craig when I got home.
I don't think that right now I could ride a bike for more than 15 minutes without falling.
Without falling. See, I just don't think I could do it.
Like at all.
Like,
I mean,
would
I know
just
that's
want out. Like, my ass would hurt.
Yeah.
Would you rather have anal sex or ride a bike?
Well, like which side of this am I on?
I think that's obvious.
Like I'm getting pegged?
Yeah.
Peg me up.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think that you're really activating any of the pleasure muscles of the butt when you have the bike riding experience. Feels like just pain.
Again, I think I see more bike riding in the last year just because of being back by Dan's house. I mean, it is, dude, I probably pass 4 or 5 of them a day between there and back. Like it's a bike riding area. And it freaks me out, dude, because like, again, there are times when you look down at your phone or you're doing whatever and you look up and you're like, oh, holy shit, bike man, bike lady. So I don't know, man. I bet that he's fallen a couple times in the last like 10 or so years. Like just you fall.
I'd love to know.
And then what's that like, dude?
When he falls? I mean, I'm surprised he doesn't like come in with like just if it were
Skinned
me,
up all the time.
Yeah, like broken arms and shit.
Did you ever have a teeth incident with a bike?
No, I mean I just didn't get on a bike very much.
Oh, I always forget that. Yeah. Dude.
Because I knew I would have a teeth incident.
I never had one, but I've seen one, and I've seen a kid like holding
oh fuck.
Like a handful of his teeth.
Like a John Voight in an adaptation.
Haven't seen it, but I'm gonna say yes. And it was just a curb situation where he fell forward and
Oh God!
just bit it, dude. they were jacked. That's probably a decent excuse to get fake teeth though, because like if I did that right now, you'd never let me hear the end of it.
What do you mean? I'd make fun of you for the most painful thing I could imagine?
No, like if I got fake teeth, like for purely cosmetic purposes, without the impetus of like a major accident.
So you're hoping for a major accident?
I'm not hoping, but
well, I might as well.
Yeah, I think you would roast me.
No, my worst bike accident was it was definitely the last time I went to Sky Ranch, which I was trying to remember that the other day. What 2 summers I spent in Sky Ranch. I think it was after
like
6th grade.
wakeboarding there?
After 7th grade. They do have wakeboarding there. I tried it. I couldn't get up.
Yeah, that makes 2 of us.
Yeah.
I barely got up.
Oh, I was going to tell you whenever we were talking about the trip to Gulf Shores, family booked a family vacation to Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Which family?
The one that I'm in. My parents.
The 3? Oh, the whole fam?
Yeah. Parents, brother,
Okay.
his kids, wife, my kid.
Very cool.
We're all going to go down. Got a little seaside villa. Going to be very exciting.
Go meet up with the former co-host.
He's
They
in
have a
Cincinnati
pizza?
now.
Oh, okay.
He, is just ready there in case they never let him put the headset back on again. Dude, whenever that Tom Brenneman thing happened, I think that they have like a fill-in TV person, so they did not call up the radio person. But that was the first question in my mind.
He's on the list.
Does this mean that Tommy gets to call the games?
That he'd be putting his headset on again.
So I think that I will again attempt to see if Gulf Shores has flyboards and if I can get up on one of those. I think it's a low chance, but I'm going to find out.
What about Lake Travis?
Do they have flyboards? That's a great question. We should ask that.
It feels like Lake Travis is a flyboard type body of water. Like there's got to be a high. I mean, again, Elon. Like he may have set up shop.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I'm going to look into it.
Okay.
But yeah, so tried wakeboarding at Sky Ranch, couldn't do it. Wasn't for me. And my best friend growing up was a big bike enthusiast. Like his whole family to this day does long bike riding tours. My parents and his parents have a thing of every 10-year anniversary, like 10, 20, 30, 40, they'll go to New England and ride the trails.
That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah. And so I was like, going into that, knowing that Sky Ranch was coming up, I'm like, I'm going to fucking figure it out. I'm going to like get better at this bike shit so that whenever he goes on his bike thing, I'm not just going to be like sitting back at the cabin doing nothing. I'm going to figure out, and it was fucking mountain biking. I was like, I'm going to figure out this goddamn mountain biking.
Yeah. Gears and the like.
And it went all right. Like I couldn't do it now, but I didn't totally ruin the time for everyone else. That's always what I'm worried about in any physical thing.
Yeah.
Like I would love to play and pick up basketball games, but it would be a miserable experience for the other 9 people on the court.
Yeah.
Like if that wasn't the case, who knows how often I'd be out there. Just
You're a
getting them
considerate
up.
man. I think the last time I was on a bike was in Amsterdam.
Yeah. That's a long time ago.
That was a long time ago. At least off the top of my head. I mean, I don't own one.
Yeah, that's probably going to be a real big problem.
Started crying.
In Amsterdam?
That was a whole other issue.
Oh, that wasn't biking related. She didn't skin her knee.
Well, she was on a bike.
Okay, she was on a bike. Is there a phantasm chasing her, in her opinion?
Oh, no. On cue. We're just making fun of you for that one time.
We were talking about another person.
You were crying on that bike in Amsterdam? What a jerk.
But yeah, so I don't remember the exact. Something popped me, like I hit something. I went up. Like as you got that split second in the air where you're like, this is fun, but like, what's coming next?
Am I flying?
What's the countdown for? And then hit down off the bike, thrown from the bike. And that's the only time I've had the wind knocked out of me.
In your life?
Yeah. I mean, I don't do a lot of things that would make it so that I would have the wind knocked out of me.
Man, you call that 12-13 X-crack toss. I'm coming for that safety, and he's going to deplete me every single time, but we're springing the edge.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a matter of getting in front of them.
Well, whenever you weigh 107 pounds, it doesn't really matter if you're in front of them. They're going to run you over. I would say I probably have had the wind knocked out of me no less than 100 times in my life.
100? Wow. What percentage in the situation you're describing?
Couple dozen.
Okay.
Plus, I mean, dude, basketball? I feel like that was a common thing. Just take a charge, get run over.
Yeah, I mean,
you ever get beamed?
As I said.
Been hit. You get hit with a baseball. That's a tough one.
That's not wind knocked out.
No, but
I've gotten hit with a baseball plenty of times. That was the one sport I did play. And, yeah, dude, I got bonked with them pretty frequently. I mean, it was either that
OBP.
or catch it. OBP?
You're on the base paths, my man.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, getting slapped in the chest by parents.
Okay.
That one will knock the wind out of you.
I'd never had a parent knock the wind out of me.
Brother, you haven't lived.
But yeah, no, I mean, it was such a relief whenever the air came back and you're like, oh, okay, I'm actually fine. But having that experience the first time, it was very difficult. You think
you're dying.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It feels quite like things are over.
Yeah.
And then the lungs fill back up with air. It ends up all good.
What about like a big zong rip? That ever qualify as knocking the wind out of you?
I mean, I feel like that would be, I'd be a little dramatic to be like, I took a rip so hard I'd knock the wind out of me. Certainly there's times where like I'm swimming and I need a moment, and I'm just coughing so bad, but I wouldn't say it's like a wind knocked out of me.
What about the jet ski?
Ooh, that's a good point. I think that I have.
Because I feel like I have.
I don't know. I don't think it was a jet ski. It wasn't like full wind knocked out, but going off of the inner tube, being pulled by a boat. I've definitely had I need to catch my breath here for a second. Something happened. I didn't get a chance, despite having the best lake summer of my life last year. I don't think that there was one time whenever me and the Excel boys went out that we pulled one of the guys on the tube, and I'm making a pledge right now.
Oh.
This is my golden Buzz the Lens promise that I will deliver a video of people on floats being pulled by boats to the P1s this summer.
How about that?
I think I'm also going to live stream my first time I get out there and rip it.
I love it. I absolutely love it.
I think I've figured out how to do that so that they can just go on the journey with me. I feel confident.
That plus working the drone in?
I know, dude.
Are you kidding me?
I mean, I've had a whole off season to plan,
It's the summer of TC.
The way that Kyle Shanahan's writing down plays, just thinking up new ideas for this upcoming year.
You've got the Supreme Court.
That's what I've been doing. Yeah, dude.
You got the executive branch. Mm-hmm. You got Andy Dalton.
Yeah, all the good things.
And you got a drone.
Yeah.
You're good to go.
Oh, I meant to give you the update, and I guess I can now. Flew it today, my man.
How about that?
It ended up costing more. I would say all told, that was probably like a $450 mistake. Not great.
That's about what I would have thought a drone would cost.
It's about $1,000 more than that for a new drone.
Damn.
So I saved $1,000 off of. I mean, that.
Will you bring it to Austin?
100%.
There you go.
Yeah, no. Expect the highlight video of the weekend.
Competing drone with Danny B.
Why can't we team up?
Talking about drone doc?
Yeah, dude. Maybe we'll just. Well, I just mean we both put together a lot of footage, get in the lab together, just being like, what do you got footage wise? What do I got? Let's mix and match.
All right, we got to go. We'll have another show for you tomorrow. See ya.
That's it for tonight. The high school special is next, so until tomorrow, for everyone who's been a part of this one,
I'm TC and Jake.
We do thank you for watching. Good night.